Hello everyone and welcome back to twitch.tv/gameswithnick. We are back and we finished Monkey Island yesterday. So we're gonna be playing some Gabriel Knights 1 OG, as you can tell from the couple screenshots I pulled. But before we do that, let's watch the intro. Which will give us absolutely no context, so I'm not sure what's called intro, but... It looks like we're having a very bad dream. This was actually, I believe, Jane Jensen's first work, at least as lead. Robert Holmes, the composer, is actually her husband. And anybody who likes Gabriel Knight will be very sad to know that these days Jane Jensen writes male-on-male erotic novels. That's true. Look her up. The real crazy thing about this game is that they got some, like, A-listers as their voice actors. So, Tim Curry is Gabriel Knight. Mark Hamill as Detective Mosley. And Leah Remini as Grace Nakamura. So, you know, these are, like, you know, actors. Not just voice actors as can be today, where, you know, you hear them in a lot of things, but that's their main thing. These were, like, you know, straight up actors that they got. The rest of the names, not as notable. I guess Jim Cummings, desk surgeon. It's Sweeney Pooh, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Winnie Pooh. Day 1. I dreamt of blood upon the shore, of ice that spoke of sin. The lake was smooth and deep and black, as was her scented skin. Let me double check. Yeah, narrator is set to voice, okay.
Mm-hmm. I bet. Just a minute. It lives, I see. Do you want to speak with Lolita? I'm sorry, but Gabriel is allowed. Oh, I mean, he's out. Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'll tell him. You know, you could do better. I know I don't know you, but you could do better. Sure. Bye-bye. Good morning. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. Let me know when you want your messages.
Yeah.
Gee, you're lively. Did you have another nightmare last night?
Sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
I
accent.
told you it's that voodoo
Mwah.
book you're researching. That stuff can seriously screw up your karma.
I'm sure that's it. Maybe I should write a horror novel on passive resistance instead.
So don't sleep. It's your body. Anyway, your handheld tape recorder came today.
Really? Great.
I can't wait to see what human rights you violate with this one.
I can't wait to violate them. For example, if you would just let me...
And I located some local voodoo references for you. Dixieland Drugstore and the Historical Museum of Voodoo. Both are right here in French Quarter.
How would I ever manage without you?
You? Give me a break. The devil himself couldn't change you.
Well, if the devil had great legs, perhaps. Like yours.
And a riveting personality, I'm sure. Well, if you need any more research done, just ask. It's not as though we're swamped with customers.
Like, I know it's the 90s, but still hitting on your employee. Even if you mean it as sort of a joke. Not great.
St. George books could use some serious renovation, but Gabriel likes to think that the place has character.
Mind if I borrow the magnifying glass?
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
No problem. I'm going to take the tweezers for a bit.
Good. You're beginning to look a little scruffy.
Just trying to make you feel at home.
Times Picayune, dated June 18, 1993. The front page has an article about the Voodoo Murders. The article says that the victims are all identified as members of the underworld. The general public of New Orleans is in no danger. Police claim the so-called voodoo trappings found at the crime scenes are fake, a scare tactic, and that the murders are not associated with any genuine practitioners. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day.
See, that's his first mistake.
Little storms ahead. Proceed with caution and do not get involved with anything new at this time.
Right.
No offense to the narrator lady, but I want to finish this game in less than 2 months, so, you know. Less caffeine. The books on the table have been chosen for special appeal, recent fictions by the biggies. In other words, nothing written by Gabriel. Allow to provide access to the uppermost shelves of the bookcase. 3 snakes and a skull. Gabriel's father painted it. The curtain doesn't provide much privacy, but Gabriel's rarely in his bedroom during shop hours anyway.
What a wacky, offbeat kind of guy Daddy was.
Grace keeps her art supplies here. Book rack containing cookbooks, true crime, puzzle books, and inspired combination. Under the window are reference books, dictionaries, foreign language dictionaries, quotation books, and others. Gabriel borrows them often when he's writing. Traumatic, isn't it? Gabriel didn't eat for 3 weeks after sponging on that coat. He has a thing for black leather. He'd gargoyle, eh? Gabriel looks at the cash register, checking for cobwebs.
Don't mind if I do.
Do what?
Oh, nothing.
Dude, not cool. Okay, yeah, we're gonna use the verbs because it's easier. So this is my inventory, okay. Here are my conversations. This is my score. Okay, and that's help. Okay, so let's... Actually, quick question. Talk versus ask. I don't quite get the difference between talk and ask, but you know.
So, what's new, Grace?
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to be bound by rules.
The strap marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
Did I ever tell you that you're actually quite attractive?
Be still, my heart.
Had any customers lately?
No, but I'm sure you have.
Hmm.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Okay, that's a lot of things to ask about.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
Do you know anything else about voodoo?
I've told you all I know. Sorry I can't be more help.
Okay, so this is the kind of game where you have to click
What
things,
do you know about the voodoo
and they don't
murders?
just disappear.
Just what I read in the paper, same as you.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
You won't get far questioning me about it, Sherlock.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
You won't get...
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Well, I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible here.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
You're the native, don't ask me.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
Yeah, right, Knight.
I mean it.
What do you want to know?
How come we haven't gone out yet?
Oh,
I'm still waiting around for that lobotomy. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well, it's not exactly a huge intellectual challenge. Although the math in your record books could confuse Einstein. Still, I love old books, and it's a nice way to pay the bills while I explore the city for a summer. If you ever pay me, that is.
What do you do after work?
Well, I either go to my oil painting class or my Tai Chi. You know that.
You know, you can go overboard with this improving yourself stuff. You don't want to alienate us mere mortals.
I suppose I should just allow my mind and body to atrophy.
Works for me. How old are you?
Old enough to know about men like you.
Just tell me anything at all.
I just got my master's.
why
in
did you have
history
to
and
say
classics.
that?
My folks
Ugh.
wanted me to go on right away for my PhD, but 18 years of school was enough. I needed a break.
Just tell me anything at all.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it, and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
Just tell me anything at all.
Why does he sound so lecherous saying that line?
You know? Something real
Oh.
life. I'm sick of libraries and lecture halls.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks are traditional Japanese. I don't even remember Japan myself. I was 3 when we came to the States.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've been studying Tai Chi for 10 years. It's a very spiritual discipline.
It.
Sure, discipline of any sort.
She has a pretty long list of shits she can say.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks want me to get married to a boy back east, Mark Kobayashi. His parents are traditional Japanese too. I might eventually, but right now,
Just tell me anything at all.
I've been studying Tai Chi for 10 years.
Okay,
Nothing.
Suit yourself.
we finally got there
Do you have
eventually.
messages for me?
Dana called, and Susie left a message about a lawsuit.
Toss 'em.
Okie dokie. There's more when you want 'em.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your grandmother called.
I keep meaning to get over there. What did she say? Did she sound good?
She sounded great, and we had a nice little chat about you.
Grace.
Don't worry. I didn't go into detail about your cardinal sins. Not that anything about you could surprise her. She adores you anyway.
She's my girl.
But she said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have more messages for me?
Here's This is a strange one. You got a call from someone named Wolfgang Ritter? He said he was calling from Germany. He told me it was urgent, maybe you should give him a call.
Ah,
Germany, like hell. If it's really important, he'll call back.
Schattenjäger.
Fine. Let's just hope he's not with the German lottery for pitiful American authors.
Schattenjägers are banging at your door, Gabriel. You should let him in.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your friend Detective Mosley called. Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with you. What do you want?
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother's maiden name is Humphrey. Oh, that's Humphry.
Fascinating.
And that he left some photos for you at the station. At the front desk.
It's about time.
Gabriel, those photos wouldn't have anything to do with the Voodoo Murders, would they?
Now, why would you say something like that?
Because I know you. You're getting privileged information, aren't you? Did you tell him you'd put him in your new voodoo book?
A writer has certain obligation to his readers, you know.
Gabriel, you know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character is a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male pit bull with a really big...
That's
Ugh.
it. Thanks. Anyway, that's all the messages. Thank God.
That was a lot of messages. Like, I guess in the 90s, when texting wasn't a thing, it was harder to reach you, but still.
Do you have more messages for me?
I've given everything to you.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Alright. Well, I guess we'll be out.
I'll be back later.
Have fun.
That's right off the bat. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, that's us. Let's go talk to our grandma first. Very good, mama's boy.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss. Now come and sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and grandmother.
Something is very weird about the way her mouth animates.
Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though, not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New
Goodness,
Orleans.
boy, you've lived here all your life just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Oh, surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma, and at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone annex, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for man, went flying off. Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
Aw, that is pretty adorable.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. 22? Jesus.
Just tell me anything at
Oh.
all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
I think I've heard enough about Granddaddy.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Okay, so he was 21 when he came to America, which means he was definitely older than her.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
Okay, so I'm supposed to believe that this man died 40 years ago, and you never loved another man since then. Come on.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were 2 peas in a pod.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel, and your granddad's.
That's a lot of information that I was not honestly interested in, but
Tell me
okay.
about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care
Okay,
of you
there's a
that
curse
killed me,
here.
Gabriel.
Like,
Police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
my parents died when I was 8. My dad's well, I guess my dad's grandfather died when he was 8. That's a curse there.
Tell me about my father.
That's a
Your
curse.
granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school. Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the 3 of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two. But he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from a great aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about my mother.
That seems like a very bad use of a
Every
trust
last
fund.
one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Tell me about my mother.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
I guess it also explains why he married in
Tell me
2
about my
weeks,
father.
because
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
the parents.
Tell me something about Granddad.
I don't know what else to
Okay,
tell
I
you,
guess
dear.
we're wrapped up.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Prettier.
Oh, you.
All right.
How you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
Okay, let's see what we have around here. Grant's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow. On the wall are portraits of Gran and Gramps when they were young. Gabriel incinerated some good-looking jeans. There's a picture of Gabriel, his dad, and Harrison Knight. It wouldn't have been a southern pine and is probably fossilized by now. Okay. The clock has been in the Wright family, Granny's family, for a century. Huh.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
Alright, let's, I don't know, use the clock to move it? Face of the clock is hand-painted. A ring of 6 symbols surrounding the face of the clock. A sword, a sun, an angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon. There's an interesting design at the base of the clock. The key wants the clock's mechanism. Nothing happens. Hands don't appear to have any mechanical function other than to move. Yes, but I have no idea what time to put, so we're not gonna guess our way. The old trunk looks like it's gone to hell and back. Box of knickknacks has been here for at least 5 years. There's a sketchbook on the chair that Gabriel Vigor remembers as his father's. That seems interesting.
I think I'll take Daddy's sketchbook with me.
Good lord. The image haunts the page of Philip Knight's sketchbook the way they must have haunted his mind. I don't think there's a way for me to switch pages. Okay. Let's try and talk to her about the clock, but...
That's it. Take a load off, hon.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible
I guess she doesn't have anything to tell me about the clock.
Well, Gran, I better get going.
All right, dear.
Alright, let me actually make a save. Just save one, let's call it. Okay, so let's start by... Oh, I actually don't know where I want to go. Let's go to the cemetery.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah? What can I do for you?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
They say it was part of an old religion from Africa, brought here by slaves.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
Ain't it just awful, them finding those bodies with voodoo things around them? I don't think there's any real voodoo going on. Somebody's trying to cover their tracks is all.
What do you know about...
I told you.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Seems like everybody want to visit New Orleans at least once in their lives. And they love the cemetery tour. I see tourists in here every day of the year.
What can you tell me about...
There's lots of things to see here, but none are as beautiful as the St. Louis Cemetery #1.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Toussaint Gervais. I'm the watchman here at St. Louis #1.
What exactly do you do here?
Oh, I keep the place tidy, but a big part of my job, too, is looking out for the grievers, People come to pay their respects, and they need looking out for. Sometimes they so grief-bound they don't know what they doing.
Tell me about yourself.
That's about all there is to say.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery #1.
You know why the dead are buried
#1.
Ground, don't you? The water table's too high. Them coffins would float right out of their graves. Them dead would go floating right down into the quality. Of course, if it were Mardi Gras, nobody'd even notice.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery #1.
It's a historical place. People buried in here from the Civil War and back further, too. Take a look around, you'll see.
Anything else?
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery #1.
Just look around. Just look around. You get the feel of the place.
Okay. The marks are reddish in color and remind Gabriel of crosses. It looks like they've been here a few days at least.
I want a copy of these strange marks.
Near the Laveau tomb is a place of red brick, undoubtedly a cast-off from spiritual graffiti writers. Oh, he's moving off. Got in a brick. Food, trinkets, and more unsettling things have been left at Marie Laveau's tomb as offering from believers. St. Louis Cemetery number 1 is one of the most historic and beautiful places in French Quarter. Yep. These seem to be a favorite decoration for the dead. An imposing marble tomb from the last century. Gabriel can barely make out the name Hamilton. The tomb is in sore state of disrepair.
There's probably no one left in the family to maintain it.
New Orleans is famous for its above-ground tombs. The high water table prevents body from being interred underground. The name Ross is inscribed on the sole tomb. This is the tomb of Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. Odd-looking marks adorn the Laveau tomb wall. I thought I could find my... Oh, I guess there's maybe a different exit here? I guess I've never seen 2 screen locations for now. Exit. Yes, okay. That's how they're marked. Look. The Wright family tomb. Several of Gabriel and Grant's family members are laid to rest here. Yeah, open the tomb. Tomb is securely shut. Okay. Just a check-in. Go further this way. The tomb has a sword carved into the stone below the name of the deceased. The imposing tomb is elaborated, labeled Gedda. An angel draped dramatically over a stone plinth marked the entrance of a large tomb. 2 enormous vases flank the front of the Gedda tomb. An angel leans down to gaze at something unseen. The tomb is smaller than most of the others in the cemetery.
Pup tent for the dead.
Okay, East, there is only the back wall of the cemetery. Gabriel cannot go any further into that direction. I thought the Art family tomb was supposed to be here. Okay. Actually, I can see what Grandma said.
Tell me about my father. Tell me about my father. Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay to the police, say your father swerved
Tell me
your grand.
Normal life. I guess it was actually when we
about my father.
talked about my mom.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was... She was beautiful. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you... She was beautiful and reckless.
Like, we're supposed to have a tomb. Okay, see, I don't understand why he's not exiting. Like, what am I supposed to do? I need to look this up, because there's gotta be something wrong. La, 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 la. Like, it's not right click, because right click changes. Third generation of an old New Orleans family raised here in relative peace. Billman is apparently doing some cleanup work. The above ground tomb is only large enough to accommodate one resident. Is it this tomb? No, I think I read that already. I guess it's literally 1 pixel. Which, if that's the case, that's pretty fucking shitty. No, but I already looked at all these tombs. An angel stands silently in front of a tomb. Like, there's the exit down there. Yeah, this guy keeps moving, sure. Well, I guess I will go to the Voodoo Museum.
Hi. Look around all you want.
Okay, thanks.
Let me talk to you first.
Could I ask you a few questions?
I wouldn't be much help. You should talk to Dr. John, the owner. He'll be back tomorrow.
I see. Thank you.
The black wall displays various voodoo items, such as an anatomically correct voodoo doll with pins strategically
Now,
placed.
why does that remind me of Grace?
Historical Voodoo Museum is bringing with items of authentic and original. It's kind of pointless too. On the table is a small coffin, so small in fact it will only fit an infant.
Charming.
So, this feels like a waste of my time at the moment.
I'll be gone now. Thanks.
So long.
I was not expecting this when they talked to me about a museum. How about the Dixieland drugstore?
Hi. Uh-huh. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Ask what you want, I'll answer what I want.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
Do you think I'm stupid? This is a voodoo shop. Look at all this stuff.
These are novelties, curiosities. If people want to think they're magic, it's not my concern, you know.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
Cabriz Sancour.
What did you say?
Nothing. Those killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
What did you mean when you said Cabriz Sancour?
I didn't say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong, monsieur. I said no such thing.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I've lived here all my life, me.
Tell me about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
Tell me about yourself. How did you get into this kind of business?
Why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Tell me about yourself. How did you get into this kind of business?
Why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head. Voodoo and Hoodoo, the craft as revealed by traditional practitioners by Jim Haskins. Available at Dixieland Drugstore and other fine stores. Dixieland Drugstore is crammed from top to bottom with strange merchandise, some or all of which seems to be related to the practice of voodoo. It's nearly as old as the one in St. George's. Sign says Special St. John's Eve Lagniappe. Free bottle of Lover Come Back to Me oil or Master Gambling oil would ever purchase over $50.
Can I ask you just... What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
It's the biggest night of the year in voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
I couldn't say.
What's the significance?
What do you mean I couldn't say?
I've said all...
Okay.
What did you...
I didn't.
You did.
You heard wrong.
Well, this guy's sketch. Guy's super sketch. Super concentrated fixing oils and packages of pins.
Lodestone powder. 5-finger grass. Something tells me I'm not in Kansas anymore.
Okay. Well, let's open the door. Well, this is a pretty church, but I honestly have no idea what I could be doing here. Oh, and I guess this leads me to the square. The drummer is busy. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Oh yeah, they got the blues! They don't have the blues. That's a very, ooh, look at this mime. Hmm.
Well, I'd never. Leave me alone, you man.
Okay. There's clearly something I'm gonna have to do with that mom at some point, but for now... So we've been to the square, I'm gonna assume. This lets you see each of the pieces. Okay. I have no idea what Napoleon House is, but yeah, let's go there. Oh, it's a bar. Yo, what's up, George?
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
Oh, hey.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? I don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Lavau's Tomb, but it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I'm no expert.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
It's all over the papers. Some kind of serial killings.
What do you know about the voodoo?
They say a lot of voodoo stuff is found near the bodies.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Greatest city in the world. I'd never want to live anywhere else.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
This city must get 1 million tourists a year, especially around Mardi Gras. You know what goes in it?
I don't think it's a drink.
Oh, then I probably don't know anything about it.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
A lot of people come here because they think it's mysterious. All that talk about voodoo.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
All I know is it's some kind of voodoo holiday.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
Okay.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They played every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time. By the way, Sam, the chess player, he's into that voodoo stuff. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Thanks.
Okay.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say, enough already.
Sounds like my life. What can you tell me about your...
I'd call you a regular, Gabe. And one of our local writer celebrities, too. Been coming in here, what, 10 years now?
Don't remind me.
We're still waiting for that bestseller.
Don't hold your breath. What can you tell me about your...
That's about all.
Okay.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
Don't know what else I could say.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodoo-ing and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day, he went up and talked to the girl. And, sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife. Poor guy.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
That's about all I can remember.
Okay.
Excuse me. I hate to interrupt your game, but could I ask you a few questions?
What game? This isn't a game. It's a slaughter.
He's right, you know, so let me die in peace, would you?
Okay. Well, let me die in peace, would you? I guess so we're gonna try the police station. An antique umbrella stand.
Got a second, officer?
What can I do you for?
I was supposed to pick up some photos from Detective Mosley at the front desk.
Is that right? And who are you?
My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Yeah, I got something for you, all right. As soon as you're done talking, I'll give it to you.
What
I hope he means the pictures and not something else.
Nothing. I'm a Catholic boy.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
I'm not allowed to give out information on police cases.
Yeah, that's right. That's fair.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I'll tell you, I'm glad as hell it's not Mardi Gras. If it weren't for that 1 month a year, being a cop in New Orleans would be a real pleasure. As it is, I'd rather stick behind this desk.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Bunch of crazies out there on St. John's Eve, that's what. We're busy all night.
Really? What kind of crazies?
Your usual howl at the mooners, I guess. They don't look no weirder than them that comes in during Mardi Gras. Never can tell, though.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I already told you. It's a busy night for us, pal. You want a history lesson? Go read a book.
Go read a book.
Do you know what Capri Saint Gare means?
Can't say that I do.
That was a beautiful French accent.
Tell me about yourself.
I gotta say, congrats, Tim Curry.
Death Sergeant Frick, why?
Frick?
That's right. You got a problem with that?
Not at all.
I'm just curious.
Tell me about yourself.
You see that front door?
Yeah?
Well, I watch people come in. See this book?
Yeah?
Well, I write people's names in it, see? People that bother me. Want me to put your name in this book?
I think not.
That's what I thought.
I'm here to see Detective Mosley.
He's out of the crime scene. Sorry.
Alright.
Where is the crime scene? Is it related to the Voodoo Murders?
I don't know why I'm bothering to ask, but
Information is
yeah.
Police confidential. We don't need any more looky-loos than are probably already there.
No, I mean, you know, that's fair.
Here's that envelope for you, Gabriel Knight.
Thanks.
Alright, let's see. What do we have? No. Open. Gabriel opens the manila envelope and finds 2 photographs. Photograph of Musa was apparently taken upon his graduation from the police academy. He had hair done. One of the photos from Mosley is an official Voodoo Murders crime scene shot with graphic close-up of the victim. Okay. What if I... Nope. Okay. So because this game doesn't have hotspots to help us save some time, I'm gonna loosely follow a guide along. There's a couple of things we
Hello,
need to
beautiful.
check.
It's me.
Oh boy, party time.
Oh.
Hey, kids.
Bruno, how nice.
Gee, a customer.
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see.
Rare books.
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here.
Oh, that
Are
was
you
a
gonna
pretty
show me
sick
that
burn.
wonderful painting of yours today?
Gee, is today the day that hell freezes over?
One needn't be rude.
I mean, if that's the only thing you came in to do, to just be like, yo, sell me your book, it's like, why? Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Let's see, Mittag means midday, noon.
Gabriel selects a volume of German poetry that he always found strangely compelling.
Drei Drachen. Drei Drachen kriechen in meinen Schlaf. Die Ziele wollen sie lebendig zum Fraß. Feurigen Atems, gespaltener Zunge, genießen sie jedes Mal.
That's nice. Kinda creepy though. Who's the author?
Hans Ritter. I'm not sure what it says, but I get the feeling the guy was one sick puppy.
Okay. Gabriel opens the cash register to examine the take, or in the case of St. George's book, the mistake. Ah.
I trust you can live without this old gift certificate.
Knock yourself out.
What is it? Oh, is it just a $20 gift certificate for St. George's? Okay. Hello, Grace.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research?
Sure. What?
No.
Okay.
Do you have any hints for me if I do this?
So, what's new, Grace?
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to be bound by rules.
The strap marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
Hmm. Gabriel finds this popular author's video very mediocre, as one would find. There's one more book we need to up here. Gabriel pulls down a book on snakes.
Snakes are legless reptiles, Some snakes kill their prey with poison, some by constriction. A snake smells by tasting the air with its forked tongue. The smells are passed back to a sense organ in the mouth. Constrictor snakes, however, sense their prey by vibration.
Did you know that medieval legends about dragons and giant worms are actually based on snakes? You know, dragons, devils, sea monsters, well, they've always been associated with snakes.
Grace, get alive. See you later.
See ya.
It's my
Your only grandson, but nice try, Gran.
Haha.
at home, son.
Classic. Actually, I do want to go back up the attic. Actually. Okay, well, let's go back up the attic.
In
An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origins, among the discarded treasures of the attic. It doesn't seem to be running at the moment. Like, I would like to understand what's... There's gotta be... I don't want a magnifying glass, I just want to look at things. Velvet curtains, old tire, ornaments at Christmas for as long as you can remember.
Tell me something about
your granddad
Came to America when he was 21.
met married
Oh
me,
god, shut up.
and we had
Tell me something.
your granddad supported me, and maybe that was why
Tell me.
Harrison was only 36 when he died.
I'm sorry. Tell me something.
Did you know that your... I always thought he should have done something with that gift.
Tell me something.
I don't know.
Tell me about yourself.
Me?
Oh, what do you...
You know how I love to...
You... Tell me...
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. It was... I met Harris, your...
I... Just...
I had...
Just...
I know...
Just...
I hate to admit it.
Oh... Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was She was beautiful, and since you're so interested in family history these...
Maybe I'll tell me about my...
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was the remainder of your mother's trust fund.
Tell me about...
The Templetons are all...
Tell me about...
I don't...
Tell me about my father.
Your Philip suffered from...
Tell me about...
When Philip met your mother, you have your father...
Tell me about...
Wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were... The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something.
Tell me about...
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a...
Tell me about...
He always hated it. I kept telling him.
Tell me about...
I don't...
Tell me about...
Your Phillips...
Okay, I need to look this up. One attic clock. Um.
Do you have messages for me?
Dana called.
Do you have...
Great.
I keep...
She sounded great.
Great.
Don't worry.
She's...
But she said to remind...
You have...
Here's a strange one. He told me it was urgent, maybe...
Called...
Well, fine.
You have more...
Your friend detective...
Respect...
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother...
Fasten.
And that he left some photo...
It's a...
Gabriel.
Now...
Because I know...
A writer has...
Gabriel. You know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character...
As long as it...
That...
You have more...
I'd give...
I guess I'm not. I'm gonna try to play it honestly. I feel like there's gonna be a reason for me to open that clock, and I don't have that code yet. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next part.
Right.
Oh.
The police officer is either off duty or patrolling the park, or both.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Not now, buddy. I'm busy.
I should have noticed that. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Coroner requests assistance at the
Ooh. Okay, we need access to that radio. Oh boy, it's literally a pixel matter. Like, you'd think as soon as the thing says exit, you'd be able to exit. Trying to make sure the stupid mime stays on to me.
Hey, cut that out. I told you to stop that. All right, mister. You want some of this?
I want some of this. Gabriel picks up the headsets and listens.
Ambulance 911, have you located the crime scene? They've radioed for you 3 times.
Ma'am, did you say it was north of the Lake Retreat Country Club?
South. Lakeside Drive north of Piedmont Pier, south of the country club.
Man, I don't know if it's the clouds out here today or what. Good thing this guy's already dead.
Everyone's having trouble. Must have been hallucinogens in the coffee this morning.
It's just so misty out here or something. Hey, I see a squad car. Got it, Molly.
Thank God. Have a good one, 911.
Interesting.
Stupid mime. Hey, you! Get away from that bike.
Sorry.
Alright, so... crime scene. Crime scene team is still at the site. Gabriel parks a bit out of the way and walks over to avoid adding to the general confusion. Well, looks like they're wrapping up.
Hey, mostly. Huh? Matt, you wiener. I told you not to call me that. Feeling jumpy? Who, me? Don't be stupid. How'd you find me? Oh, I was just driving by. Mm-hmm. Well, for the book. But don't tell anyone I let you see this, huh? It's another one. As you can see, same MO and no frickin' clues. We're still waiting on an ID for the body. That's disgusting. Isn't this a rather, public area for this kind of thing? Yeah, they're frickin' ghosts, these guys. Lakeshore Drive isn't exactly the 10 expressway, but it is open to the public. No reports and nothing. Now, who the hell is that?
Well, hello.
Good day, Miss Getty.
What's going on, officer?
Detective Mosley, ma'am. We've got a little problem here, but nothing for you to be concerned about, Miss Getty.
I see. Thank you, detective. And good day, gentlemen.
Whoa, I'm in love. Forget it. That's Molly again. She's about as far out of your reach as the moon. Probably on her way to meet some guy with a yacht right now. Near here? The lake's a popular place for country clubs. If she's out here a lot, maybe she saw something or heard something. Nah, nobody ever sees or hears nothing. I told you. Besides, you just don't go around bothering people like her.
We've about wrapped it up, sir. It's another clean sweep.
Yeah, let's get the meat wagon moving then.
Do you want to leave an officer here, sir?
Nah, just leave the tape up for a few days.
Yes, sir. If you excuse us, sir, we'll take him away.
Stick around and take notes for the book if you want. Watch out for the muck in the water, Moccasin. I'll be back at the station. Stop by if you want to go over the case some more. Thanks.
Seems to be a pattern of the lines on the sand, but if there is a pattern, it's smeared. There's only one small area that's clearly defined. Well, let's, oh, no, not, nope, yep.
Let me try to get this down.
Patches of grass have managed to survive life on the banks of Lake Pontchartrain. Out, damn spot. Will this pristine banks ne'er be clean again? That's a Macbeth reference for all you nerds. Feels like there's something more we should do. Trees on the banks of the lake are mostly oak and elm, very old. Boy, if No use to use that, or no reason to use that on the trees. It's very large grass. Like, the fact that you can just use your magnifying glass on grass. Kinda insane. Oh, that's a blood splatter. It's extremely big sand. I think there's something I'm supposed to do. Oh, we got something. There are marks in grass as though some heavy wire object has been set there. Gabriel carefully uses a tweezer to take the small iridescent scale.
I think it's a snake scale, but it beats the hell out of me what kind.
Okay.
Is that clay? Yuck.
Oh, right. This is the exit. So...
I knew you'd miss me, so I came back.
Oh boy, party time.
Let me get the book on snakes again.
Snakes are legless reptile. A snake smells by
maybe if I need to get this and compare it to the... okay.
Drei Drachen kriechen in meinen Schlaf. Die Ziele wollen sie lebendig zum Fraß. Feurigen Atems, gespaltener Zunge, genießen sie jedes Mal. Spiel. Himmel means heaven. Dry. Besessen means Drachen means dragons.
3 dragons.
Spiel.
Okay. Okay. That gives me enough that I'm like, okay, I understand now why the solution to the clock puzzle is what it is.
Gabriel.
Nice.
Me.
Honestly, the big issue is the lack of hotspots.
I'm gonna...
Like, it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. But because everything looks the same, it's very hard to know what I can interact and what I can't interact with some effect. Okay, well, Drei Drachen, keep thinking about this. Actually, Let me look at this again. A sword, a sun, an angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. The dragon is the last thing, right? And this is a weird clock where I can't get exactly 3 o'clock. Well, let's... I feel like I'm missing something else. Oh, that's what I can also move.
Granddaddy, you old fox.
Drei Drachen. Good lord. Let's see what we got. The old photograph shows Gabriel's grandfather with 2 other men, and Gabriel is not identified. And we also got a letter? The letter is written in German, but Gabriel determines what he can about it. It was sent from a place called Schloss Ritter in Rittersberg, West Germany. The letter is addressed to mein son Heinz and signed Wilhelm Ritter. One of the recurring words strewn throughout the letter is the word Schattenjäger. The only other thing that Gabriel can decipher about the letter is a sense of urgency in the handwriting and the heavy use of quill-tipped bold strokes and underlining. I feel like the amount of connections that somebody had to make for that puzzle to make sense is insane.
That's it. Take a load off, hon.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? What kind of snakes, dear?
I don't know. Local kinds?
Well, we used to get cottonmouths in the park when I was a girl, but I haven't heard of one being sighted for years. Milk snakes and garter snakes are also around these parts, but they can't hurt you.
Thanks, Gran. Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Schottenjäger? Schottenjäger? How odd, Gabriel. I haven't heard that word in years. My goodness, you've given me a chill. Your granddad used to say that sometimes in his sleep.
Really? Do you know what it means?
No, I'm afraid not. I asked him about it once. I don't think he answered me. Odd.
Thanks, Gran. Do you know anyone named Heinz Ritter?
Heinz Ritter? Oh, Gabriel. Where did you hear that name?
I found a letter in Granddaddy's clock.
I promised I'd never tell you or your father. But I suppose suppose it doesn't matter now.
Tell me, Gran.
Your granddad's name was Heinz Ritter before he came to America. He changed it to Harrison Knight legally when he arrived.
Why did Granddad change his name?
I don't know. I tried to ask him about his family, his life before America, but he didn't want to talk about it. He never even told me about his name change. I found out one day when I saw his passport in a drawer, since he obviously found it painful. I never questioned him about it. But I'm sure it wasn't trouble with the law. Your granddad was the best man I ever knew.
Didn't Granddad ever say anything about his past or his family?
Only that his family was crazy, and that he never wanted to see them again. He believed in some family curse, thought that he could spare Philip and Philip's children from what he called old nightmares. Whatever Harrison wanted to spare you, though, it cost him plenty. He never did sleep well, and he would often get a far-away, guilty look in his eyes. He was wrestling with something he thought he should be doing, someplace he thought he ought to be. I don't know how he could think that he should be anywhere but with me and our child. It's a terrible way to live.
Do you know anything else about Heinz Ritter?
I've told you all I know about your granddad's past.
Do you have any idea what Caprice en Coeur means?
Something without something, I think. My French is so rusty. I swear my mind is going.
It's okay, thanks. Well,
So-
Gran, I better get going.
We're gonna call it soon. But just to summarize, to solve the clock puzzle, we had to first of all, talk to Grace about our messages. That's reasonable. Second, pick up the fact that we used to be German, or that Germany was involved in something. Okay, but if you pay attention to it, you pick that up. Then you need to make sure you click on the completely anonymous shelf to find a book of poems, including the one by Heinz Ritter. Then you have to think to yourself,
Hey,
Really?
yeah, whatever. I guess the top shelf contains a set of German books that once belonged to Gabriel's grandfather. So you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna check those out, and then you read the poem, and then you're like, well, I just read a poem in German, and it's not like the book is like, okay, let's go and translate this, and there's like a mini game or some prompt to translate it. No, you just have to keep clicking the fucking German dictionary enough times to get that drei Drachen means 3 dragons. Then you have to go to your grandfather clock in the attic, understand that you can A, move the hands of the clock, but also move the outer ring of the clock, and understand that that's why the 3 dragons mean. What? Like how? How did people do this without a walkthrough? I do not know. Okay, well, let me go to the proper location to
Don't hurt
continue.
Dr. Viscount.
Then we're gonna make a save. Call it a night. That clock thing. I'm still. Just wow.
Got a second, officer?
What can I do you for?
I'm here to see Detective Mosley.
He's in his office. Go on back.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey. Knight, come on in.
Alright, this is a good spot to hit the save button. We're gonna make a new save every time, I think, for this game. Because I looked it up, and I don't think there's really any way to get completely stuck, except for the very ending, but still. Alright, yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with Gabriel Knight, next week on Wednesday. Excited to play through more of this, despite the complete bullshit of some puzzles, clearly. But, you know, the story's worth it, and it's entertaining, so I guess that's good. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Sunday, we should finally, hopefully, I swear to God, I mean to start Max Payne. I've been meaning to do that for a couple of weeks, but I did a marathon session of Ys 8, and then I was too spent to do it, and then past weekend, just my setup borked, because, you know, shit happens, but we will try to actually play some Max Payne this Sunday, so I hope you'll join us for that. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and until next time.